This week I did something wildly out of character for me. I went to a fashion exhibition. A completely random TikTok popped up on my FYP for the Westwood Kawakubo exhibition at the NGV in Melbourne. Sent it to a girlfriend as a joke, and somehow 2 days later we were standing on a train platform heading into the city, so there was that. Now this might sound like a completely normal activity for most people, but we really felt like we were cosplaying as sophisticated adults, you know, the kind that wear real coats and don't live in pajamas 95% of the time. So today I'm going to talk about the exhibition as someone who is completely unqualified to analyze high fashion, but who does kind of have a very niche knowledge of the sewing industry due to an extensive amount of time on sewing YouTube for I swear it's been 5 years now. This is not a serious fashion critique. It is just my thoughts, my opinions, and a whole lot of vibes about how I felt about the exhibition. Rather than doing a step-by-step of the exhibition, which doesn't really translate through a camera anyway, I thought I'd talk about my favorite pieces, the ones that stuck with me and kind of sent me spiraling into that whole void of, I could probably make that. You know, the sewing delusion. So buckle up while we chat and I let you know which things have made their way onto my ever-expanding project list. Scooching a little bit closer. We're gonna get serious here. Kind of. I mean, not really, but it was for the bit. Alright, so let's start with the first piece that really stood out to me. You walk in to the exhibition. They have beautiful newspaper style prints, clocks projected onto the wall, quotes from both designers, some excerpts from their bios as well. And then they also had screens lining the hallways that had some of the catwalk shots of the pieces in the exhibition being worn. It was all really cool, but it took forever to get through. We ended up forfeiting reading all of the bio stuff and just jumping ahead. It took so many takes just to get that one mouth noise, and I don't even know if I could hear it on the mic. So once we scooched on ahead, first room was really interesting. I have to say, for someone who has zero knowledge of high fashion, as I said, niche knowledge here, because that first room gave me a little bit of a confidence boost. The first set of pieces that I looked at, instantly I knew what freaking era they were trying to replicate. They were doing your 18th century style dress. They had Regency pieces in there. And I'm just sitting there going, I cannot believe I just picked what era these are from. I knew the names and everything. It was kind of fun. That was a little nugget there that I held on to for the rest of the day. Very happy with that. But this first piece, where am I going to put this on the screen? Let's say there's a nice piece of wall here. Let's just scooch a little. I am going to read a little bit because let's be real, I can't analyze high fashion. I need a little bit of help with my notes here. So I am referencing my notes. So the first piece was this beautiful chill dress. And it wasn't just a chill dress, because let's be real, for a fashion exhibition from two artists that are known for very, I'm gonna butcher this name, and if I butcher it, I am so sorry. Rei Kawakubo, very avant-garde from what I could gather, and interesting choices. I'm not gonna say I didn't vibe with everything that she designed, because this dress was flipping gorgeous. Layers of white tulle. Over the top of that white tulle was a black ribbon cage-like structure. Now, that cage seemed to really compress some of the layers of tulle, but it was still really fluffy. It was almost like the softness was trying to escape the cage, essentially. Or at least that's the vibe I got from it. So the bodice is where it kicked it up another notch. Now, it had a very defined basque waist from the black ribbon, but it also kind of dipped into a drop waist, not fully committing to either. So it kind of sat in this very uncomfortable middle ground and honestly looked a little bit Frankenstein-esque. Kind of like two bodices that had been stitched together and forced to coexist. And I don't mean that negatively. The tension made it work. It felt slightly wrong, but in a way that made you keep looking at it. So obviously this added something to my project list. I need a ridiculous chill skirt with a black ribbon cage. Because why not? I don't know where I'm gonna wear it, but I need one, so onto the list it goes. So the next piece that stood out to me was this cream and black gown. It had a very confusing skirt situation on the mannequin. It did actually look a little bit different when I saw it worn on an actual body, but like it has a very specific structure. It was part of the Westwood collection, and she actually apparently wore it to a V&A gala thrown in her honor. And the pictures of her in this dress are stunning. And apparently it costs like £33,000. So it's not cheap. The shape of it was genuinely fascinating. I couldn't for the life of me figure out how they constructed it. It had a bubble-like structure, and underneath that bubble-like structure, it was a very triangular floor-length ball gown skirt. So it just kind of dropped in a triangle. But the bubble, I could not see how that was feasibly constructed. Like, my best guess is that it was throughout construction placed on a dress form with a loose piece of fabric that was just plenty big and hand tacked into place until they got the resulting bubble effect that they were wanting at the top of this skirt. Purely on vibe. I could not see a pattern or any logic to it. So I think they just sort of like fabric, splat, go for it. Like get in there and just tack pieces down until it looks right. That's my theory. Now, the bodice of this dress, again, it's a thing. Like the bodices, I don't know what it is about high fashion bodices, but sometimes they're just like, and that was a choice. It was not my favorite part. Not that I think it was bad. It's not my personal taste. It was the bulk of the fabric at the waist for me that made me go, ooh, no, not for me, not for me. But that is also due to the fact that I am an apple body shape, clearly. Very up and down. Like, there is no waist definition. So that much bulk around my waist, that would not be flattering. So it looked gorgeous on Vivienne Westwood. Like, it absolutely, as I said, looked stunning on her. Not for me. This dress did kind of make me want to make an homage dress, though. But if I do, I will be doing my bodice without all that bulky fabric. I'll still keep the ribbon, just not that bulk. And at this point, a pattern was clearly emerging. Apparently my standout pieces are just, pretty dresses. Unlayered, nuanced, and yet absolutely feral for a ball gown, apparently. So this pink dress in the Westwood collection was all about the fabric. She didn't need any sort of applique or rhinestones or texture. The texture was all created with the fabric. She was gorgeous. So they draped the fabric in a way that just sort of fluidly trailed over the bodice and seemed to kind of melt into the skirt. And she was voluminous. Like, girl was girthy. So very, very, very pretty. So from a making perspective, this one really cemented something for me. Sometimes you don't need to be too fancy. You can just let the fabric be the star of the show, using big shapes, clean lines, and letting the fabric itself carry the drama. And obviously this added make an unnecessarily large and ridiculous pink ball gown to my project list, because who am I to deny making my inner 5-year-old happy? She deserves her pretty princess dress. Lastly, one of my favorite pieces was this conical lace piece from the Kawakubo collection, crafted from thick layers of lace and studded down the front with fluffy lace bows. She was eye-catching. So the piece itself is very avant-garde, which, if I'm being totally honest, is not something I'm usually drawn to. And frankly, I wasn't really jiving with this piece on the day that I saw it. In fact, I kind of hated it. However, after reviewing my shoddy cameraman work of the exhibition itself, it's just kind of been niggling its way deeper and deeper into my brain. And the more that I look at it, the more that I love it. I don't know what happened. I went from really being like, to, she pretty. You know what she'd be real pretty as? The inspiration for an insanely elaborate and dramatic cloak made out of layers of lace, potentially some chiffon, studded down the center back seam with beautiful fluffy bows, massive lace hood. And who would wear such cloak? A winter queen. And now I need a winter queen outfit. in the middle of summer, I'm having this idea. I mean, that does give me time to plan and make it, but like, I'm gonna be real with you. When I was working on the script for this video, I procrastinated because I looked at the photo and my brain went, hey, this is cool, we make this. And instead of working on said script, I spent 2 hours on Pinterest and YouTube looking at different elements of what could contribute to a queen outfit with this cloak as the piece de resistance, including looking up DIY tiara tutorials. So I have a problem. Like, so now I have an intense desire to make this winter queen outfit, and I've already added 2 fabrics to my cart, and my bank account is crying. Please send help. So I'm not trying to make this video an entire thesis length video, so let's speed run through a couple more, because otherwise we'll be here all day. First up, Exhibit A, velvet 2-piece suit with a white ruff, and the shorts are an adorable knickerbocker style, which is just like, I never thought I was going to say that word after primary school with the Knickerbocker number 9 song. Like, that is the only reason I know that word, and for some reason I looked at them and went, oh, they're knickerbockers, and when I googled it, I realized I was right. So, pat on the back. Anyway, she was real cute. I really liked her. I thought she was adorable and fun. All right, next is the birth dress, and don't hold me to this because I swear I took a picture of the plaque for this because I really, really liked it, and then I can't find that picture anyway. It's gone. So I'm pretty sure this was a Kawakubo piece. And from memory, she said it's meant to represent like birth, motherhood, and I think it was being a woman or something like that. It was meant to be like a real femininity piece. Real cute, like layers of lace forced into like these really architectural structures using crinoline techniques, and then topped with like a cute crochet jacket. She was adorable, loved her. And let's do a few notable pieces too that maybe necessarily weren't my favorites because I thought they were really pretty or like great works of design, but just, you know, had something to them. This particular one made me think of No Face from Spirited Away. But if No Face was trying to be sexy, do with that what you will. And then there was what I can only describe as the office doona. Really cute, sleek line down the middle, gorgeous corporate dress, surrounded by this big circular doona thing, which really handy for keeping away the chill through winter and also keeping away pesky office co-workers. So bonus if you're not in the mood to talk. Okay, now we have the illusion tights with the leaf merkin. We actually saw this on the way into the exhibition because this was one of the pieces that was being displayed on one of the models on the screens walking the catwalk. And while it still looked funny on the model, it definitely looked a lot nicer than it did on the mannequin. But honestly, this one's just notable because I have the brain of a 12-year-old boy and it made me giggle. So, all right. Now we have these 2 dresses. These ones kind of became notable because they looked from a distance like they were heavily beaded. And when I got up close to them, I realized that it was actually that kind of fabric that's like crocheted and has lurex woven through it. And I held a moment of silence for the models that had to wear those down the catwalk because my skin itched just looking at them. And for our last piece, we have one that is a favorite, but it's ridiculous. We have this delightful avant-garde piece by Kawakubo, which I like to call the cat toy outfit because it looks like it's made from those little plastic balls that you get for cats and they bash around. And I would like to submit my application that this should be the official Crazy Cat Lady uniform, spray it with some catnip, and voila, cat's best friend. Anyway, it was iconic. No notes. So walking out of the exhibition, I did not feel like a fashion expert. I did feel very creatively overstimulated, but kind of in the best possible way. What I loved wasn't any single garment, but the reminder that fashion doesn't have to make sense to be interesting. Structure can be soft, pretty can be weird, and sometimes the point is just to push an idea a little bit further to spark something new. This exhibition very insistently added a number of new projects to my ever-growing project list. Some realistic, some deeply unhinged, and whether or not I make them is a problem for future me. But if nothing else, it reminded me of why I love making clothes in the first place. Not for perfection or trends or practicality, just for the joy of seeing an idea turn into something tangible. So if you see me attempting a dramatic skirt, an insane cloak, or a gown that serves absolutely no purpose in the near future, now you know why. Thanks for coming to the exhibition with me in spirit, and I'll see you in the next one.